Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to our June Town Council meeting. I hear everybody got quiet, so that means we are ready and we are excited about the meeting tonight. So we will go ahead and get started. We'll start with our invocation from Councilor Morgan.
All right, I'm going to pray and bow as you will and pray as you will. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this time to come together in this place to carry out the business of this town. We thank you for all of the many blessings that you bestow upon this town and our citizens and us as leaders of this town. Just ask that you continue to bless this town and bless us throughout this meeting and give us guidance and wisdom to do those things that are honorable and just for all and not just for our own selfish intentions. We ask that you also bless and be with all of our first responders and folks that put their selves in danger throughout the week, that you give them safety throughout their careers and their jobs here at Knightdale. Also be with our town manager and our mayor and give them wisdom and guidance in all that they do as they lead this town. It's in your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Tonight, we are pleased to highlight the Knightdale High School Theater Program. Every year, the Durham Performing Arts Center sponsors the Rising Star Awards program for students in North Carolina. This program celebrates outstanding achievements in high school musical theater and recognizes excellence in over 15 awards categories. This year, Knightdale High School won 2 of these awards. They received Best Student Lighting Design and overall Best Musical for the production of Six, the musical. We are excited to have 5 of the queens, as they are known as in the play, and the lighting designer for that production here with us tonight. Marin Boone, who played Anne Boland, is an incoming junior. She has been in 2 productions and helped choreograph the most recent production of The Bodyguard. Dana Evans, who played Anne of Cleves, is a rising junior who has been in 5 productions and also helped choreograph the recent production of The Bodyguard. Khalees Jenkins, who played Catherine Parr, is a rising senior and has been in 6 productions. Angie Carrera Martinez, who played Catherine Howard, is a rising junior and has performed in 2 productions. Faith Sutton Daniels, who played Jane Seymour, recently graduated and is heading to Hofstra University to pursue a BFA in musical theater. Ms. Daniels was selected as a top 10 female actress finalist for the Rising Star Award in her role in The Bodyguard. Kit Gouldy, lighting designer for the show, is a rising senior who serves as the technical director for the theater program. Kit spends countless hours on every production, ensuring each show is a success. That kind of hard work is what led to the Rising Star Award for Best Lighting Design. So now let's give it up for the incredible and the talented students who are here tonight to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. One more round of applause for the award winners. We are so proud of them, so proud of their work and all that they are doing, wishing you the continued success in everything that you do. Thank you for being here and leading us in our Pledge of Allegiance. Next is our adoption of the agenda. Any changes to tonight's agenda, comments, or motion to adopt the agenda as is?
Make a motion to adopt the agenda the way it is.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Majority approves. Motion carries. We will move with the agenda as is for the evening, starting with presentations, recognitions, and awards. Recognition of outgoing board member, Ms. Morris.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Pastor Elliott, if I can have you come up here and join me. I'm just going to read a couple of remarks about him. I think most of us know him, but for those in the audience who may not know him, on behalf of the town of Knightdale, we extend our sincere gratitude to you for your dedicated service on our Community Relations Advisory Board. Pastor Utley has spent a lifetime serving others, first through 20 years of honorable service in the United States Air Force, and then through decades of faithful ministry, leadership, and community engagement. Since becoming the pastor of Malibu's Crossroad Missionary Baptist Church in 2004, he has been a guiding presence in Knightdale, bringing people together through faith, compassion, and service. Throughout his time on the advisory board, he shared valuable insight, wisdom, and a genuine commitment to strengthening our community. His leadership reflects the same spirit that has defined his ministry, life work, helping others, building relationships, and making a positive difference wherever he goes. We are grateful for the time, dedication, and perspective that you brought to our board. We're also grateful for the perspective that you bring to the town of Knightdale. As he concludes his service and his role on our board, we want to wish him and his first lady, because she serves with you, and the rest of your family continued blessings, good health, and success in all that lies ahead for you. Thank you, Pastor Utley, for your faithful service to our community and for living out your guiding principle. If I can help someone along the way, then my living will not be in vain. He like, Rachel, you got that right. You know I did. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. And hold on, we got a little something for you. This is just a small token of our appreciation, and it does not hold up to all of the service and the dedication and love that you bring to our town. Thank you so much, and I'm gonna have Mayor Day come down for you.
As he is walking out, we're always thankful for our community members that volunteer their time, and he has volunteered a lot of time to support the town of Knightdale, and we appreciate all of that. So, next is our proclamations. First is our Juneteenth proclamation. Juneteenth is a holiday celebrating the emancipation of those who had been enslaved in the United States. On June 19, 1865, General Gordon Granger announced that the slaves in Texas were free by order of the President of the United States. Juneteenth celebrates African American freedom and achievement, a day of liberation, resilience, and fortitude. It is a time for reflection, rejoicing, assessment, and self-improvement. So therefore, I, Jessica Day, Mayor of the Town of Knightdale, do hereby proclaim June 19th, 2026 as Juneteenth in the Town of Knightdale. And I call upon all residents to become aware of the significance of this celebration in African American history and in the heritage of our nation and our town. Next is our Pride Proclamation. The Knightdale Strategic Plan identifies the following 5 focus areas: safe, connected and inclusive, sustainable, active and healthy, and organizational excellence. To achieve a connected and inclusive community, Knightdale actively pursues the creation of a welcoming environment for all and supports the rights of every citizen to experience quality and freedom from discrimination. The town of Knightdale accepts and welcomes people of diverse backgrounds and believes a diverse population leads to a more vibrant community. Knightdale residents should be able to live without fear of prejudice or discrimination and should seek opportunities that champion the civil rights of all people. So therefore, I, Jessica Day, Mayor of the Town of Knightdale, do hereby proclaim and recognize June 2026 as Pride Month and encourage all residents to respect and honor our diverse community and to participate in relevant activities that build dialogue, strengthen alliances, and advance the quality of rights for all individuals. And next is Vitiligo Awareness Day Proclamation. Vitiligo is a chronic autoimmune skin disease that causes the loss of skin pigmentation. It affects more than 2 million Americans and can appear at any age and can affect all people regardless of gender, race, or ethnicity. Approximately 15 to 25% of people with vitiligo are also affected by at least one other autoimmune disorder. The condition is not contagious or life-threatening, and while it is not typically associated with physical pain, the psychological and social effects can be significant for many affected individuals. So therefore, I, Jessica Day, Mayor of the Town of Knightdale, do hereby proclaim June 25th as Vitiligo Awareness Day in the Town of Knightdale. And I encourage residents to increase awareness, understanding, and support for individuals living with vitiligo. And we are very grateful for community organizations such as the NC Vitiligo Support Community, who provide a welcoming space for those living with vitiligo. A special thank you goes out to co-chairs Katrina Christian and Mark Braxton, which I believe is here tonight with us. Thank you for being here. Tonight, we are also honored to be joined by Terrell Midgett, and an advocate for the vitiligo community. Mr. Midgett publicly shares about his own journey with vitiligo, shining a light on the condition and promoting awareness, acceptance, and support. He is out in the community helping individuals embrace who they are and to know that they are not alone. So I thank you so much for the important advocacy work that you are doing in our community. And thank you so much for being here this evening. So now I would ask if you please join me up to the podium. On behalf of myself and the Town of Knightdale, we want to honor you with we want to give you the proclamation. And I would also ask Mr. Braxton if you wouldn't mind coming up as well for the picture.
Katrina's right here.
Oh, please, if you don't mind coming up as well.
Melissa.
Thank you all again for being here this evening, and thank you for the work that you are doing in the community every single day. So thank you. Next is our public comment period. This is a time for anyone who wishes to address the council on any item that is not currently on the agenda. If there is anyone that would like to address the council, you may come forward at this time. All right. If not, I will move to report on citizens' inquiries. Are there any reports on citizens' inquiries?
Mayor, did have one citizen asking about some maintenance along a roadway within the town, and that I referred that to our assistant town manager, and we found out that that is an area that we are not responsible for, that the businesses along that area are responsible for. Our responsibility is to make sure that it does not become a public nuisance. So although the maintenance of along the curb may not be up to someone's standard, it is not technically a nuisance, and we would take action if it's a nuisance, or if it's not being maintained, we would take action. But to my sort of understanding, that has been resolved. So anyway, just make sure I'll follow up with that citizen to clarify that.
Thank you. Any others? All right. If not, I'll move to the consent agenda. Any questions or comments about the consent agenda? Or motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Majority approves. Motion carries. We will move to our public hearings. First is general obligation bond order. Mr. Morrison.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Back before you once more for the GO bond public hearing that we have today. Excuse me. So we have this third set of action that we're bringing before you. Last month we came before you requesting that a public hearing be scheduled. And so the public hearing is scheduled today. So we'll hold the public hearing for the general obligation referendum. And then the second action, we would ask that you would adopt the bond order. So the bond order was introduced back in May 20th. And so it's been introduced, and so we would ask that that be adopted after the public hearing has been opened and closed. And then we will have a resolution setting the special bond referendum date, which will be in November the 3rd. This will be the last set of actions that we bring before you until December, should the voters vote to approve this. And so if they do approve, then the next set of action, the fourth set of actions, would be in the December timeframe. Phase one of this is what you see on the page, and then phase two, we would just have 2 publications that would go out one in September and one in October before the referendum is held in November. Again, this is a bond referendum for Parks and Recreation. $55 million authorization is what we're looking for. These are the different projects you see listed on the screen that could potentially be funded by the referendum. And then again, the referendum will be held on November 3rd, 2026. And so recommended actions again, hold the public hearing for the bond order authorizing the issuance of the $55 million general obligation bond for Parks and Recreation. Once that's been held, then adopt the bond order authorizing the issuance of the $55 million general obligation bonds for Parks and Recreation, and then adopt the resolution setting a special bond referendum, which will be held on November 3rd. Any questions for me? Thank you.
All right. If there's no additional questions or comments from council, then we will open the floor. This is a public hearing item. If there's anyone here tonight who wishes to speak on this item, you may come forward at this time. All right, if not, I'll bring it back to council. Any final questions or comments? Or motion?
If there's no comments or discussion, I will motion for the adoption of the resolution setting the special bond referendum. Oh, wait a minute. Close the public hearing. All right, here we go. We're going to close the public hearing. And then are we moving this to our, we're closing the public hearing now. Well, give me the language so I don't screw it up in a minute.
Just let her close it.
All right.
Okay. Okay. So at this time, we are closing the public hearing, and now we need a motion to move forward.
Roger, that's kind of what I think I was doing. No, but I will motion to adopt the bond referendum, bond order. Adopt
Second.
the resolution to approve the bond order.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Majority approves. Motion carries. All right.
Do we need a second motion to adopt the resolution setting a bond referendum? So I'll make a second motion to adopt the resolution setting a special bond referendum.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Majority approves. Motion carries. All right. Next is the Knightdale Raleigh Annexation Agreement. Mr. Brown.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. I have before you tonight the public hearing for our annexation agreement with Raleigh. Just to give you a little bit of background information, under North Carolina general statutes, we have the option to have annexation agreements with our neighbors. The reasoning is to promote orderly growth, decide where municipal limits will start and end, and also to make sure that we have adequate public facilities as we annex new property into town. So we do have annexation agreements with all of our neighbors, Raleigh to our north, west and south, and Wendell to our east and south. The original annexation agreement for Raleigh was adopted in June 1994. The one that is set to expire was adopted in 2006. It's set to expire in October. There are no changes proposed to our annexation boundary as part of this, and there is some exchange of information required as part of it whenever property is annexed within a certain 1,000 feet of the boundary. Again, there's nothing proposed to change on the annexation boundary, so roughly it's Buffalo Road to the north, kind of follows Old Mill Burney Road, and then takes kind of a little bit of a jog there on the west, and then Pool Road to the south. So tonight we are at the public hearing and action for Knightdale. Raleigh did have a public hearing and took action on this at their May 19th meeting. We set a public hearing for tonight back in May as well. This will be a 20-year agreement, so the next agreement will expire in 2046. So my recommendation tonight is to receive any public comment, close the public hearing, and adopt ordinance number 26-06-17-007, approving the annexation agreement. After this is approved, we will combine the two ordinances from Raleigh and Knightdale with the agreement itself, and we'll get all that executed and recorded with the Register of Deeds office. So I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Thank you. Any questions? Or comments? Oh, no? No? Okay. No? If not, then once again, this is also a public hearing item. At this time, I will open the floor for public comment. If there's anyone here tonight who wishes to speak on this item, you may come forward at this time. All right. If not, bringing it back to council for any last questions, comments.
I was really hoping that the planning director was going to read the deed description of the annexation. You know, but it's only about 2 pages worth of, if there's nobody else, I move to close the public hearing and adopt ordinance 26-06-17-007, approving the annexation agreement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Majority approves. Motion carries. We'll move to old business and ZMA-4-25 overlook on Old Cruise.
Good evening once again, Mayor and Council. So the next item I have before you is a old business item for the rezoning for the overlook on Old Cruise Road. What I'll do is just kind of summarize the project, talk about changes since we last heard this, and really dig in on kind of comprehensive plan consistency a little bit as we move forward before I give you staff's recommendation. Just a reminder, this is located on Old Cruise Road. It is just north of the Brio development that is under development and south of Copart. It's about 30 acres, currently vacant for the most part, and zoned rural transition. The proposal is to rezone this as part of, for the overlook at Old Cruise Road. And again, it's about 30 acres, 131 units proposed. They are proposing a GR8 zoning district with permits up to 8 units per acre. The density yield here is about 4.38 with almost 14 acres of open space. This is the final decision point for this project. It has gone through our process, including a neighborhood meeting, DRC review, joint public hearing, land use review board recommendation, and we're here for a town council decision. The joint public hearing was held back in April. As you recall, some of the comments were regarding public infrastructure design, comprehensive plan consistency, density, lot design, recreational open space, as well as some discussion around incompatible land uses as we get closer into the county area with some of the firearms limitations and things of that nature. The Land Use Review Board did meet in May on this. They discussed the comprehensive plan, guiding principles, open space, and greenways. They voted 4-1 to deny this project, and they did forward a recommended advisory statement. It really talks about it is in a designated growth area, but it does not meet the requirements for a neighborhood activity center. Specifically, the site plan does not orient the activity to a main street or public square that serves as a dedicated public gathering space for patrons and visitors. Also talks about housing types of being widespread and frequent, some of the block lengths of having similar product. And then again, they forwarded some information regarding the guiding principles of Knightdale Next Plan, specifically concerning placemaking, community character, and housing variety. And so that was the LARB's recommendation. Again, there are 3 housing types proposed here, 56 single-family rear-loaded that are 33 feet wide, 31 front-loaded townhomes that are 24 feet, and then 45 rear-loaded townhomes that are 22 feet wide. Some of the conversation we had around infrastructure design and roundabouts at this future Collector Street and Old Cruise Road intersection. The applicant did give us some profiles that show that the slope of the road really would not allow for a roundabout to safely operate there. It has, due to design speeds and also visibility coming in and out of that roundabout just due to the slope. Then we were looking at the avenue cross section and some dead-end alleys, and so that some of that has been rectified by the developer. They are proposing the modified alley section, but reduce some on-street parking to get a more consistent design, as well as removing the dead-end alleys. And then talking through comprehensive plan consistency and looking at the neighborhood center future place type. Well, that's primarily meant to be a commercial or mixed use. There are some site design elements that are very consistent with that. And to get even closer to kind of that intent, they are providing food truck parking, additional gathering areas, and a pollinator garden. And then looking at the overall area, well, this proposal, when you look at it kind of in a knot hole by itself, seems a little bit out of place. When you kind of zoom out and look at the overall Brio development that's happening, it's fairly consistent with the product types that'll be part of that development. And then the recreational open space, there is an additional open space corridor to kind of break up the long section of homes on that main avenue, and also a programmed overlook plaza with some pretty unique amenities, things like a fishing dock, and some nature-based play things that we haven't really seen in a proposal like this. They are also proposing to extend the rural preservation corridor with enhanced landscaping, a multi-use path, hardscaping, fencing, and the continuation of the Brio frontage to connect the sidewalk network there. There is some buffers to the east, 20-foot type B buffer, 100-foot stream buffer. They did pull road A back. They're very unlikely to get a permit to build that in any of the stream buffer due to not making the connection on the other side. So there's about 800 feet of separation from existing residences. They're also protecting the environment, conserving some areas to the south, the floodplains, the wetlands, the stream buffers, the pond on site, about 6.6 acres of that. This was a low trip generation, so there's no TIA required. This avenue section is a very important section in our future roadway network. It will connect Old Mill Burney Road through to Old Cruise Road in current status, and then this will continue it to the east with the eventual goal of connecting it out to Lucas Road. They are meeting the water allocation policy with 51 points. They've got 15 points based as a subdivision, and then they've added points for conserving natural habitats, public art, certified playgrounds, native plants, affordable housing, enhanced landscaping and hardscaping. So this is a planned unit development rezoning, and so as y'all are aware, they are required to meet the base district standards for the GR8 zoning district unless alternative provisions are proposed, and the council can request but not require additional conditions. There were a few site development allowances requested around dimensional standards, setbacks, the avenue design, as we talked about, the distribution of use. These are fairly standard site development allowances that we see, and staff is supportive of them as proposed. And then there are some zoning conditions that have been offered by the developer, including capping that density at where it is, having no fewer than 2 housing products to be built, having drought resistance and native plantings, LED streetlight fixtures, contribution to affordable housing fund per unit, no trespassing signs to the eastern perimeter, homes being pre-wired for EV charging stations as well as solar panels, and then there is a retaining wall there that kind of the overlook, if you will, of overlook, and so kind of softening that with landscaping or art or just making it a softer appearance of that retaining wall. They have committed to architectural design guidelines as well as submitted architectural elevations that staff will ensure that the end product type is close to what they've proposed. And then looking at the comprehensive plan, prior to making any decision, the council is to look at the comprehensive plan and make a statement of why it is or is not compatible with the comprehensive plan, and then also why it's reasonable in the public interest. Again, this isn't an intentional growth area. These are the areas in our growth map where we expect it to grow during this comprehensive plan. There is water and sewer utility available due to the Brio development being there. And so this is kind of one of those areas you would expect development to occur. In our urban small town framework map, this is a neighborhood activity center and a rural preservation corridor. I kind of spoke to both of those earlier. They do have the elements of the rural preservation corridor, including the landscaping, multi-use path, and hardscaping. And then I'll go into some detail about the neighborhood activity center elements here in a second. And then again, neighborhood center place type. These, again, are intended to be primarily commercial mixed use. However, some of the design criteria are achieved here. So if you look at these pages on comprehensive plan, they talk about uses and the way these places should feel and look, but also give some pretty specific guidance on things like street and block pattern, open spaces and natural resources, how the buildings should be massed on the road, the transportation elements of it, and then encouraging sustainability throughout. So when you kind of zoom out and look at the guiding principles, this has the opportunity to kind of forward 3 of those: the home and neighborhood choices, planned and orderly growth, and then inclusive and livable town. Looking at the affordable Knightdale plan, there is several elements that are compatible with that plan, including a contribution to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, providing missing middle housing with the different product types, and then creating that livable neighborhood by connecting to the existing Brio neighborhood and kind of bringing the activity that much further up. If you look at the strategic plan, consistency, looking at safe, making sure resources are aligned with growing community needs, connected and inclusive, creating that multimodal transportation network, and then sustainable, encouraging quality development over time, and executing the Knightdale Next Comprehensive Plan. This is within the service area of the Wakestone Athletic Park, Knightdale Station Park, and Knightdale Community Center and Park, so within the current service area of several park facilities. Again, LURB did forward an advisory statement that I will read in a second, but staff's recommended advisory statement is the proposed zoning map amendment is consistent with the Knightdale Next version 2 2035 comprehensive plan, as it is within a target growth area and addresses several of the guiding principles, such as proactively planning for growth and promoting the elements of an inclusive, livable town by expanding home choices. Furthermore, the proposal creates a rural preservation corridor, includes elements of the neighborhood center future place type. The request is reasonable and in the public interest, as it aids in developing a vibrant, sustainable, and safe community design in which people not only desire to visit, but also to live, work, and play. Again, the LURB recommended advisory statement is that the proposed map amendment is inconsistent with the Knightdale Next Comprehensive Plan. While the property is located within a designated target growth area intended to serve as a new vibrant activity center for the entirety of Knightdale, the proposal fails to meet the character guidelines of the neighborhood center place type. Specifically, the proposed site plan does not orient the activity center toward an internal main street or public square that serves as a dedicated gathering space for patrons and visitors. Furthermore, the proposal lacks the required frequent and widespread mix of housing types necessary for this designation. It violates the standards that blocks of the same housing type should not extend more than 2 blocks in any direction, failing to ensure an integrated environment with both retail and residential uses. The request is neither reasonable nor in the public interest. It fails to align with the guiding principles of the Knightdale Next Plan, specifically concerning townwide placemaking, community character, and housing variety, thereby failing to provide an intentional high-quality development as envisioned for this target growth area. Staff's recommendation is to adopt the staff recommended advisory statement, adopt ordinance 26-06-17-008, and approve ZMA 425. I'm happy to answer any questions you have on that as well.
Thank you so much. Questions or comments?
So I was just trying to refresh my memory. So where we actually get into sort of the cost-benefit analysis, does that come at zoning approval or at
That'll be part of the annexation.
Annexation, okay.
That's correct.
All right.
So Jason, for the fee in lieu that would be offered for the road extension on the eastern edge, but with that wetlands area, I mean, is it probable that that will ever see the day of light? I mean, it seems as if that is one of those areas where it will just kind of ends there, right? Unless there was I guess a bridge or something. Right.
So it would depend on if the property to the east was ever to be developed, we'd have the fee in lieu there. And if that property was to be developed or the town chose to extend the roadway at its cost at some point in the future, the fee in lieu would be available for that eventual extension. Once you have the other side, the connection, the Corps of Engineer standards change a little bit when you're making the full connection, and then you can, disturb the wetlands if you must. You could build a bridge. You could do hydrological studies and maybe be able to build it as is. It would depend at that time once you got into that engineering of that future connection. But it would not be until the road was going to be connected that it would be likely permittable to encroach into that area.
So that would not, put this council or any future council in a position of, having to consider an eminent domain situation to have a road connection or corridor connection that is sort of a mapped out.
It wouldn't require that to be
Right.
considered, right? Yeah. So it would allow for the road to be connected if there was a desire in the future to connect it. If there's no desire to connect it in the future, then the fee in lieu would sit until such time that the connection was made. And
Okay. Thank you.
yep.
And just to follow up on that, so as part of this, the right-of-way is already dedicated. It's just that there's no actual improvements.
We'll get the right-of-way dedicated all the way to the property line. We also require that their engineering show the road to the property line so we know that it's constructible plus 300 feet off to make sure that it's in a place where it can be connected in the future if there's a desire to do so.
If there's no other questions, comments, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt the staff recommended advisory statement, adopt ordinance 2606-17-008, and approve ZMA 425.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Majority approves. Motion carries. We will move to our advisory board and committee reports. This is an opportunity for any council members to share any recent advisory board meetings. Is there any updates to share? All right. If not, then we will move to adjournment. May I have a motion?
Move to second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Majority approves. Motion carries. We stand adjourned. Thank you all for joining us for our Junetown Council meeting.